On Monday, the House Oversight Committee will consider a bill on statehood for Washington, D.C., another major agenda item for Democrats just after passing the coronavirus relief bill. And just yesterday, the White House threw their support behind the push towards a 51st state.
The House Oversight Committee on Monday is holding a hearing on D.C. statehood. The president is a supporter of this.
Yes, he believes they deserve representation. That's why he supports D.C. statehood.
All right, joining me now is the author of that bill, Washington, D.C., Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton. She sits on the Oversight and Reform Committee as well as the Transportation and Infrastructure Committees. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time. Give us a little procedural lesson here. What is the process for getting D.C. statehood passed? Describe for our viewers what needs to happen next.
We're going to have a hearing, and we know what the outcome of that hearing is going to be because we have a whopping 54% of the American people supporting statehood. The reason we got that number is because of the last hearing. It usually takes more than one hearing to get a bill like this passed. If you add that the district pays federal taxes, indeed the highest federal taxes per capita in the United States, without full representation in the House and the Senate, you go from 54% to 58% of the American people, including 42% of Republicans. We're on our way.
So let me ask you then what happens when it goes to the Senate, because as of March 17th, you had 215 co-sponsors of your bill. But realistically, can D.C. statehood pass the Senate with the filibuster still intact? What are your Senate colleagues telling you either privately or publicly on this?
Well, we've got 90% of the Democrats who are close to being 100% of them, and I think we can.
Who opposes it from the Democrats?
I think, excuse me?
Can you tell me who opposes it from the Democratic senators you've spoken to?
Well, none of them say they oppose it.
Okay.
They have various ways of saying we're getting to it.
Got it.
So I think we can get all of our Democrats. But I'm not worried about the filibuster the way I was last term, because the filibuster is clearly on its last legs. The Senate did not on time organize because they couldn't get an agreement on the filibuster. Remember, the Senate is 50-50 now, with the vice president breaking the tie. It's on its last legs. You can't use it for judgeships anymore. You can only use it for legislation. It is gone, not because of D.C. statehood, but because the Senate can get nothing done because of the filibuster, so that there is every reason to believe that the moribund Senate, and the reason the Republicans lost the Senate is because they were able to pass no legislation, that the moribund Senate can be rescued to do legislation at all, if and only if we get rid of the filibuster. That's good for D.C. statehood, but it's good for a lot of other legislation as well.
Let's talk for a moment about the Capitol. You supported the scaling back of fencing around the Capitol complex, which was established, obviously, in the wake of the January 6th insurrection. Explain why you think public access to the Capitol is so important, and do you think there are alternative measures that should be taken to increase protection around the complex?
Indeed, if the people's capital is closed, you just will close the United States. And I'm pleased to say that my bill to open the Capitol may not be even needed, because we're seeing the Capitol being opened as I speak. The task force on the Capitol has recommended a retractable fence. That's a fence below ground, so there'll be no fence. They want 350 additional Capitol Police. The Capitol Police are working on overtime. The fencing is coming down little by little. That razor wire should be down very shortly. And the the recommendation is that by the end of March, all of the fencing will be down and we'll be back to being the Capitol we should have been and always were.
Can I ask you a quick sidebar question today about the White House? They say that they, at least the press secretary, Jen Psaki, confirmed that they have fired 5 people from White House staff due to past use of drugs, including marijuana. Do you think these firings are appropriate, Congresswoman?
If that's on their staff, our bill to allow marijuana use in the District of Columbia hasn't gotten through yet, even though it's gotten through in more than a dozen states. Everybody better catch up. Young people and increasingly people of every description and age are using marijuana. Not me, but apparently it serves a purpose. It's not the kind of drug that everyone is most concerned about.
Yeah, and it's also something the Vice President Kamala Harris has previously openly admitted to doing as well, having smoked pot, having talked about that in the past. So to your point, it seems like a lot of people are calling more and more for, the legalization of marijuana.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.